Hi everyone, welcome again to another video. I'm Jolene Willowtree and it is 1 year now that I got my autism diagnosis. Whoop whoop! It's not exactly 1 year, but last year in April, in Autism Awareness Month, I got my diagnosis. And wow, what a year! And I wanted to share how the first year of being aware of my autism is, how it was. But before we hop into this video, I want to talk about our sponsor, Oriflame. Oriflame is an online shop where I'm working for. They have these beautiful natural products coming from Sweden. If you know me, you know I love Sweden. I have been traveling to Sweden, and Sweden is like a country that is really concerned about natural things. So I fell in love with it. Oriflame has these beautiful products for your face. They also have like natural makeup. They have like these amazing perfumes, body lotions, things for wrinkles and healthcare, healthy shakes for your body, because I really am thinking about taking very good care of my body because of my autism. I also have some burnouts. I have POTS. If you don't know what POTS is, there will be coming a video on it, but the clue of the thing is that I am really taking care of my body and starting to love myself and take care of myself after getting my diagnosis. And this is where it brought me. Oriflame has amazing products, and if you are like me and have a special interest in taking care of your body and your health, definitely take a look on this web shop. It will be in the description. So I wish you a lot of shopping fun. So welcome back into this video. 1 year awareness of my autism, and it has been an overwhelming but great, amazing journey of learning and get to know myself better and to learn about myself and my history, about my children, about like the people around me. And I don't know where to begin, but maybe from the beginning. And the beginning is that I started to become aware of my autism through my children. This is probably going to be a lot of women that are from the 90s maybe, or mothers that have children, and then they realize, all of these traits that my children have are actually normal to me. And then you start thinking, is this just me, or am I autistic too? And then you start researching and binge learning about autism, and you realize, oh snap, I am autistic. And yeah, I really felt like I wanted to make it official and got an official diagnosis, because I didn't felt confident to set my boundaries or to talk about autism or to say that, look, I am autistic, this is why I need those things, without the approval of a psychiatrist, with like having it on paper and look like this is the real, I'm not just making it up. That is the only reason I got a diagnosis, so that I could feel confident and say like, look, I'm not the only one saying this. Like my psychiatrist, I got tested and tells that I'm autistic too. And from there on out, I got tested, got my diagnosis, and yeah, that was it. You don't get any help, you don't get any information. They just give you some podcasts, some book recommendations, some websites you can look into so that you can do it all by yourself and research everything on your own. You're autistic. Success with it. You're on your own. Yeah, seriously, this is how it goes. And I've heard it from other people too, so that's the norm. Yeah. I would not say normal, but like they would call it normal. Yeah. So I did. I started researching more and more and more and more, and I started to learn all of these things. Like I started to learn about executive dysfunction, and that I have this so bad And that's the reason why I don't get out of bed and why simple tasks are so hard. And then I start to realize that the burnouts you have had are autistic burnouts, and that's the reason why you're constantly tired. And then you realize that everything has to do with my autism, and you start to look into all of these traits and start to learn about stimming, and that so many things are stims. Like I bite my fingers until I bleed, it's so bad. Yeah, there are so many stims that I actually was already doing, and I didn't realize that this is hand flapping too. Which I was like, I'm not a hand flapper. I don't do that, so I'm not autistic. That's what I thought before. Like, I don't do that. My daughter does, and I was like, I don't. But apparently, doing that is also shaking the hands, and doing that is a form of it. So I was like, okay. I do that, and I just embrace it, and like started feeling autistic joy in stimming, and started to see the positive in it. And as I have my special interest of spirituality, I also started looking about autism from my spiritual point of view, and learning about star seeds and the rainbow star seeds. If you're into that, this channel will definitely be for you, because I am planning on talking more about that too. Yeah, because I would like to talk about my special interests too. So I'm having all of this inspiration and all of these ideas, and I realize that I'm all over the place. That's because I'm also ADHD or ADD. I don't know if they still call it that way, but like, yeah. So if you think like, whoa, she's talking a lot, that's why. I can fire talk. So yeah, and then by learning so much about myself, I could finally embrace myself, and instead of constantly trying to fix everything, I never felt the norm or normal. And I always thought there was something wrong with me. I now realize there is nothing wrong with me. I'm just different and unique. And I started to really love myself and embrace everything about me, even though the difficulties too, like the meltdowns, which I thought was just me being dramatic, because that was what was told to me, just don't be this dramatic. And then you start to realize, oh, I can have sensory overload. I can even have sensory overload of myself when I talk, and I talk too much. I sometimes need to take a break, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm sensory overloading myself. Yeah, you start to learn all these things, and that is when I realized that, wow, I was one of these people that said, you don't have to label yourself, and then call myself a starseed or a witch. And label myself. But no, autism, no, don't label yourself, because it has this negative tone. And it's because you also get treated negatively. So, where was I? I am lost in the thought race. Yeah, embracing myself, and then realizing that what is sensory overloading? How does it feel? And realizing that I don't feel every emotion, and I don't express every emotion like every other human. And I do have struggles with empathy, to be honest. And I do have anger issues sometimes, because there is also a thing that's called ADHD and autism rage. Then my meltdowns can go really bad, and I can, yeah, verbally start yelling at people. Yeah, luckily not at my children, but I would feel so bad and embarrassed if that would happen. And I did. Every parent sometimes yells, but I'm saying like not those bad meltdowns. I do had towards my husband sometimes. And I'm so grateful that no matter what, he loves me and keeps being there for me. We all have our flaws, and we learn from it, and yeah, it's so powerful. And boundaries. Learning to set boundaries. When you start to realize where your triggers are, where your sensory overload is, what you need, because you start to realize, oh, these are my needs that have been stepped over my whole entire life. Not because people wanted to, but because I wasn't aware, and I had all these emotions and couldn't express myself properly. I even did write a book because I felt silenced and I felt scared to express my emotions and my feelings, and I still feel it's difficult to express my emotions. I can express my emotions to the camera, no problem, but when it comes to talking to real life humans, I get like shutdowns. I always did. I couldn't even tell my own mother how I felt, even though I was depressed, had eating disorder, was thinking about unaliving myself, and hurting my body. I couldn't express it, and I had difficulty with attention. And then I also felt allergic to attention-seeking people. People that on purposely do things to be in the spotlight or get attention, positive or negative. I couldn't because I couldn't. And realizing then that it was very difficult for me to ask for what I needed and wanted and ask for help. So it started with setting some boundaries, and it started with, people oftentimes when they make appointments, bail off at the last second, which causes me to have meltdowns. And meltdowns can cause burnouts, and burnouts can cause depression. And meltdowns can also cause me making harmful stims by scratching into my skin and really hurting myself. I want to avoid that. I am a mother of 3 autistic children. I want to take care of my children too. So yeah, that's an extra reason to take care of myself. So my children are my reason to keep going and keep growing and keep also taking care of myself. So, and it was hard setting these boundaries, telling people like, look, when you bail out on the last second, it causes harm. And then people stepping over these boundaries and stepping over again, and then really saying like, no, this is not healthy for me, and even letting go of people and telling them like, I really need people in my life that care and that want to take care. Like, it's not because I'm autistic that I can allow everyone to just be selfish and just do what they want. We all have our basic needs. We all need things. Even neurotypical, holistic people have needs. We as autistic people constantly mask and try to make them feel comfortable. And I would like for neurotypical people to do the same and to accommodate me when I have needs. So when I say I don't want you to bail off at the last second, yeah, then don't. Otherwise, if you're sick, I will understand. But mostly they come up with lame reasons. So and that was hard on me to be able to look, this is a boundary, and also to speak my truth. And I bumped into so many things, like human interactions is still so difficult. I still don't really trust humans. I feel like to be able to talk to neurotypical people, I need to be as fake as possible, because that's the only thing they seem to accept. I don't know, but that's what I've learned, and I don't know if it's true, but like that's how they seem to communicate. I'm very shallow, don't go into deep, no deep conversations, and just the fake, hi, how are you? Oh, I'm so good, I'm so happy to see you. That kind of shit. I'm so sorry if I'm being rude or being disrespectful, but I have like bumped into so many situations where I got disrespected because I wanted to have deep, meaningful conversations, because I was being honest and saw things differently, because my brain thinks and see different things and experience different things and see more details, so I can give more details and see change. And yeah, I want to change the world, because that's what we are built for, to change the world, and that's why we are different. And I also got to see what I want to do with my life. I now know that I want to help other neurodiverse rainbow spirits. Yeah, so I am on a journey, and it is bringing a lot of information. I also started to see that my father he's not alive anymore, but was autistic. He had the same stims, and he had autism reach, and he had like the same fantasies and his special interests. Fantasies, which I mean, I can be in my own fantasy world, and he did that too a lot. So I really like, my mother always say like, you are just like your father, and I actually am. But then starting to wonder, like, my mother was a lot of the times stressed and angry and had her anger outbursts, but that can also be autism going wrong, and I can totally understand, like, if people treat you in certain ways for years and years and years, and you go through abuse, and you go through so many things. I started to relate. I don't know how deep I can go in this talk, but like my mother often had like fights with neighbors and with other people, and now I start to realize that it's because people are selfish and mean, and there are so many mean people. I got bullied in school by teachers. I got bullied on the workplace. Our neighbors constantly call the police when our dog is 5 minutes outside, and even when she doesn't bark, they call the police. That's bullying. And there are so many people like that. And maybe we are a magnet for it because of our trauma, and maybe we need to learn something from it and learn to set our boundaries and stand our ground and be brave. But I started to realize why she was so angry at the world, at everyone, and started to understand. And then I also found out that I had doctor appointments. As you can see, they have taken my blood at both sides. And I have POTS, which is a condition that comes a lot of the times in autistic women. I'm not going to go into detail in it, because I can make a separate video on it, because it's a lot of information too, but that's also something that I found out in this year. POTS, which can make you feel dizzy, and you're basically allergic to gravity. That's all I can say now. And I also am getting tested for EDS. Yeah, fun. Which also comes a lot in autistic people. But I will make a separate video on it. But I started to see that the physical problems, like the back pain and the dizziness and the high heart rate and all of these things that I am having, constipation, and when I look at my mother, her father also had like back pains, I remember, and high heart rate, I think. Also constipation and all of these things. When I look at my sister, and she's like chronically ill, she's also autistic and ADHD, and I come to all of these realizations that we all have been suffering through all our lives. Me, my mother, my father, my sister. And I want to be the generation that changes that. But I also feel the generation that will heal it also through our emotions and seeing it. And I have been so angry at my past, and yeah, we all have been angry at each other, but at the end we were all the same. We were all struggling. We were all in some kind of pain, emotionally, physically, mentally. And yeah, I even wrote a biography, a book, because I was so desperate on wanting to be seen and wanting to get my truth out into the world, because I felt so silenced by all the things that happened to me as a child, in school, with teachers, with bosses, with family, with situations that happened. That at one point I felt like I wanted out into the world, and well, this was supposed to happen eventually, but it also brought so many things. And if I could do it all over now that I know what I know, which maybe one day we can, it still is possible to write a book and get the truth out, because I really feel it's necessary. And yes, we all have made mistakes. Yes, I know my family is embarrassed. My father's parents are embarrassed of what my father did. My mother denies things that I've gone through, because it probably hurts to realize that she did not know. And I tried to write it in my book, and I don't think I was trying to rush writing a book. I now that I know that I am autistic, and realized a lot of my family members are too, and realizing that we were all suffering in silence because we did not know what was the core of our struggles. And the core of our struggles is not our autism, but it's how our society treats people that are different. And different in all ways, not only neurodiversions, color, religions, culture, even the people we love. It has been such a long way for people to respect gay people. I am bisexual. I always have been. And never was shy about it, and never did hide it. And I was surprised to see that people were so close-minded when it came to love. And I never was racist, and never was taught to be, because the opposite. In my family we were like very respectful towards differences, probably because we were ourselves. And when I saw this racism in the world, I was like so surprised. And when I got into the world and got treated as I was a piece of shit because I'm different and learn different and communicate different, I was surprised because why? Why? We cannot all be the norm. Norm does not exist because even all neurotypical people are different. And that's why I want to write a book one day. My dream is to write it with the whole family. Like, I wish that we would come to a point where we all connect again. My sister, my mother, my grandmother, if she still is able to. My father can't anymore, and I wish he could do his story. And we should not be ashamed of the choices that we have made, of our autism rage. We should not be ashamed of our struggles and of the things that we can't do because of the pain we are in. And we shouldn't be ashamed of the choices that we have made that have had hard consequences, but still we're learning paths. And we all did our best. We all gave our best. Everyone. Even though I probably expressed it the wrong way again, like by saying certain words, but like every human can only give what they are able to. So if family makes mistakes, friends make mistakes, it's because they did not know better or they couldn't give better. So holding a grudge to your family because of their choices is not going to help, because maybe they are also struggling. Maybe they were also undiagnosed and were suffering in silence. So what have I learned in this year? A lot. And I feel so grateful that I know what I know now, because I can forgive myself, I can forgive my family, I can forgive my past. And I could also start doing some family lineage trauma healing. And I start to see this results in my children. And they are happy. They are happy. And that's all I ever wanted. Yeah. And I think we all deserve this. Yeah, everyone. My family, my children. You deserve to be happy. Thank you so much for watching. This was an amazing year, and yeah, this will keep going on. Yeah, I will keep going on learning and growing and yeah, being my true, authentic, artistic, autistic self. Thank you so much.